It all started with one question. What is the role of art in a network society? First, we have to wash our vegetables and herbs. Carrots, cucumbers, zucchini, salad, scallions, peppermint and cilantro. Those will make the filling of our vegan summer rolls, assembled by the comrades themselves. We live in a world where everyone is theoretically connected to everyone, and where we all are subject to the same rules of individualism and competition. This is what I would define as the network society. Loose, but with possible connections and competitions lingering all around. So next up is the cutting of our vegetables so they fit perfectly into the summer rolls. You can do this alone, or even better, with your comrades. It's most important that they are afterwards nicely arranged on a plate, like a little piece of art. Within this network society we live in, everyone has to be creative all the time. Even salesmen and secretaries write it into their CVs. Being creative has, in capitalist society, become compulsory to survive as an individual. You have to set yourself off from the others. You are obliged to be different, to have your unique selling point, and thus you are required to be creative. Creativity surrounds us in every aspect of our life, especially as artists. We learn to have good ideas, to be different from other artists. Muse, inspiration, work, handwriting, or the touch of the genius. All those phrases are born out of the idea that creativity is a competition. Artists are required to create something sellable, a product. They create creative products and become themselves a product of their own creativity. At the same time, we see the field of art, of creativity expanding into everyday life. Everyone writes poems or songs, paints and sculpts and so on. This democratization of creation, especially of creating products, shows us that art itself has to take on another route. If art wants to exist outside of the exploitative norms, that is. If creativity is everywhere, then she doesn't need to be an art. For the freestyle satay sauce, we start off with the garlic. Best you cut it as small as possible. Even better if you have some kind of a garlic crusher at hand. So let's say that art is no longer about being creative. However, the role of art is crucial, as artistic thinking opens other spaces than linear, political, or scientific thinking. So what I mean when I talk about artistic thinking is exactly not creative thinking, not a line of thought that necessarily produces something, an output. Rather the opposite. Artistic thinking is the kind of thinking without any pressure towards a product. Artistic thinking is the process for the sake of the process. First, we add the peanut butter. Through this, art can open up new perspectives on the world. And here we reach the crux of this creative imperative that reigns us. Tina, there is no alternative. We are bound to be creative within the system, but not allowed to be creative with it, or even outside of it. Daily, people who dare to imagine a different life, a different economy, a different future are discredited. This means we have to be creative in order to survive within the system, but the boundaries of creativity lie within the rules of exactly this system, our capitalist society, that forces creativity upon us. Creativity has to be, but at the same time it has to be bound to competition and the individual. Next up, the line. By being creative in this common sense of the word, Art will keep reproducing the existing structures and the rules of the system, reinforcing the discourse. That's why art has to start working on the boundaries where creativity is banned. Art has to enable other people a chance to be creative with their perspective towards the world. Art starts to work on structures. Art becomes the experiment, the pure process. Only in the experiment, the attempt, the essay, lies a chance to break the rules of creativity. In this sense, art is rebellion. A rebellion based on the imagination of other possible worlds.
Sambal oelek.
This changes the role of the artist. As an artist, I no longer create works, shows, or presentations. Instead, I provide structures, means, tools, techniques, or maybe just a little provocation. This may only seem like a small shift or none at all at first sight, but it is quite huge when seen in the whole complexity.
Soy sauce. So as you can see, it is kind of not really nice looking. That's why we have to stir for quite a while. A fork is ideal for this process. Last step, adding water to the sauce.
Let me make an example of this moment right here. I have provided the material, the room, the spark of an idea, or in this case food, and now it is up to you. I have read you a short, unfinished text. You will have to discuss it with someone or comment on it in order for it to unfold. The artist opens up a process, one without a set ending, because the ending can only be reached by collaboration with the so-called audience. The artist is the provider, and you are the user, and so much more than that. Assembly time!
Art is interdisciplinary in its core and requires biggest possible freedom in the arrangement of time, space, material, media and rules. Form follows function, follows content. We live in a political world. Every glass of water we drink is a political matter. Art must embrace, challenge and question the political aspect of every used material. Art is understood as a set of rules that are applied to a situation, what if, not as a representative of space, as if. The what if is applied to a structure, not to an individual. Art should embrace imperfection and be understood as a space for experiments. Only collaboration and open communicative and participative structure enable this experiment. There is no audience, there are only participants. Every participant has their own subjectivity and thus their own approach to every theme and its complexities. An honest and critical examination of each's own subjectivity is necessary. Exchange, critique, debate and discussion are what keeps art alive, be it within the setting or in outward communication. Art creates public spheres, art needs public spheres. Critique has to be applied without consideration of economic, personal or aesthetic aftermaths.